The one decision you'll make as a recording artist that will affect probably the entire rest of your career is not what you think. It's not, you know, what kind of genre you choose to work in. It's not how often you're releasing songs. It's not even how many times a week you're posting content. I think it's really something far deeper than that, that a lot of people sort of neglect, or also a lot of people, you know, they might make the wrong choice early on, in my opinion, and then never come to realize that there's still time to change. But really, just to preface this video, really, I want to tell a story of a friend. I might have talked about her in another video. Her name is Jane, and you know, Jane was in kind of, you know, in the R&B space overall, but really she wanted to do some kind of like neo soul stuff. And she was pretty early on in her career. You know, she released a few songs. She was still trying to figure out what kind of sound she wanted to do though, and really trying to start up, you know, her artist career locally in her area. And you know, the thing with Jane though is that she was looking for a producer, right? And eventually she landed on this one guy who agreed to, you know, send her over some beats. And I think there were definitely some problems with, you know, their kind of like artist-producer relationship. You know, not that he was a bad guy or anything. He really, honestly, had a cool studio. I went a few times to his place. But I think really the problem was that he was just sending beats back and forth to her, and they were like dark R&B beats, you know, those kind of like, I don't know, like Party Next Door, Brent Faiyaz, like those kind, you know what I mean? And it was just like, if you think about that versus neo soul, that's a huge difference. And so Jane, she wasn't entirely happy with this kind of sound, and she also felt like it wasn't aligning with her goals, because she wanted some music to play, some like beats that she could play, you know, at live gigs, you know, as backing tracks, and just the beats that this guy was sending her weren't really aligned with that goal at all. So how it's related to what this video is about? Well, it's really talking about how the producer you choose and the people you surround yourself as a recording artist really affects, you know, not just your output, but also just the trajectory of your career. Because, you know, if we take Jane for example, she picked this she picked this producer because he was cheap, right? Like they had like some sort of agreement where they would do like X amount of beats for like $100 a month, right? And you know, in Jane's mind, that's really cheap, and so, you know, might as well keep working with him. And I think, you know, the trap that a lot of people fall in is that all producers offer the same thing, you know, especially if people are starting on early on in their careers. You know, Jane was like, I asked her, you know, why are you still working with this guy even if he's not aligning with your goals and he's not giving you exactly what you need with your music? And she simply said, you know, like every other producer's like that, might as well pick the cheapest one. And really, I think a lot of other artists, like I said earlier on in the careers, fall into this mindset that every producer, you know, kind of just does the same thing, and that there aren't people out there that are willing to sit down with you and actually, you know, make music custom with you. It's like kind of sad, to be honest. I think especially like maybe younger artists as well, because you know, the music industry is kind of changing. It's really shifting to a lot more like transactional stuff, like, you know, YouTube type beats and just people sending beat packs back and forth and whatnot. There's this bee flying around, or this fly. But yeah, I feel like it's really becoming transactional, and I feel like the artist-producer relationship that once was, you know, in terms of like sitting down and working one-on-one with a team of musicians around you, it's kind of dying. And I don't know, I really want to kind of spread the message that, you know, music, that kind of way of making music is still alive, right? And trying to find people who agree with that. And maybe if you're watching this, if you resonate to Jane's story at all, I'd like to hear, you know, what's your story with working with producers, what's your experience, you know, working with other musicians in the past, if you resonate, you know, with her experience at all. You know, with all this, what do I think is like, not a solution, but like, what could be done differently if you're an artist in this position? I think that just branching out and networking, like, people always say networking, but they don't really ever tell you what it actually means. Like, sometimes I used to think networking was this big fancy thing where you need to go like events and like studio meetups, but really it can just be as simple as like sending out a message to 10 artists every day and being like, hey, I really like your music, you know, let's work on some stuff. And, you know, if you're nice enough, most people will respond if you're not like needy or anything like that. But really, I think what I want you to take away from this is that there are people out there that are willing to make music for you, not just be transactional and make the type of beats that they want to make, but actually there are people that, you know, will resonate with your music so much that they will do whatever it takes to make sure you have the right resources to really make the music that you're proud of and that you want to make. But you're never going to find those people if you don't actually reach out to them, right? So it's really, what I want to say is that, yeah, like there are people out there that are willing to make it work with your music and not just be transactional about it. And I think the quicker you realize that, the quicker you're able to, you know, actually connect with people online. I think that's where the doors really open up to, you know, more collaboration, more communication with people who are willing to just sit down with you and, like I said, do stuff one-on-one with you, be up in your corner. Because, you know, if you think about all the greatest artists, and just how music was done traditionally, you know, Bruno Mars, Michael Jackson, I don't know, The Weeknd still, like even more recent artists, you know, they've all had like people in their corner making music for them, you know, whether it's a team of musicians or if it's just a producer, you know, there's always been people there making music for them. And yeah, I mean, if you aspire to these people at all in any ways, or if, you know, you have some sort of inspiration, then definitely I think it's worth considering, like, how do they make music? Do they make it all alone, or do they make it, you know, with a community of people that is helping them make the best music that they could possibly make? Just gonna take a quick break here. It's so hot outside. It's like 94 degrees, and I bought this like little protein shake. Like, what is it? Oikos, and it's pretty good if you want like a not sugary protein shake. I think it tastes pretty interesting too. But yeah, I think in general, the things that really matter is, first of all, finding someone that, or finding a team of people even better, like that are willing to work on your music with you. But then from there, like, how do you decide, like, if you find like 10 people that want to work with you, how do you decide which one to work with? And like, the thing is that, like, at the end of the day, everyone is kind of offering similar services. Like, once you get into like the custom production space and move away from, you know, type beats and just like beat packs, when you get into the space of people that are doing custom production for you, you have to like actually sit down and see what kind of a person you want to work with. Because at the end of the day, if everyone's going to offer you custom production, you really have to see if you align with the person that you're working with. Because, you know, if the type of person you're working with usually does like in-person sessions, but, you know, you want to do like remote stuff, then obviously, you know, it also comes down to personality. Like, if you're with someone that is just like an actual pain in the ass to work with, then, you know, maybe not work with them, even if they are giving you something you really want. Because, you know, I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone out there that you really resonate with. Just a matter of, like I said, like reaching out to people. Really, like, there's nothing that, it costs you nothing to send 10 messages per day to people you want to connect with. It takes maybe, you know, 15-20 minutes if you're able to find them, like on Instagram or something. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it, some new ideas, something to take away. And yeah, if you have any questions or want to send me a message on Instagram, I'm always on there. And yeah, have a nice day. Look at this view, guys. Beautiful.